Aloha everyone, and a big welcome to all the new subscribers. My name is Charles, and this is the Hawaii Volcano Watch Report for June 2020. In this report, I will be covering the Kilauea Volcano, the Mauna Loa Volcano, Lōʻihi Seamount, and the Halema'uma'u Crater Lake. Starting this report, we will take a look at the Kilauea Volcano first. Based on the USGS report issued on June 4th, 2020, the seismicity rates were about 25% lower in May than in previous month of April. Up at the summit of Kilauea, sulfur dioxide emissions remain low and are still below the detection levels over at Pahoa and the lower East Rift Zone. Tilt meters located up at the summit have registered a slight increase in inflationary tilt during May. That indicates an increase in the rate magma is entering the shallow storage system of the volcano. Tilt meters recorded 2 deflation-inflation events also during May, which is half of what they recorded in April and is considerably lower than prior months. In my opinion, the data indicating the increasing rate of magma supply to the shallow storage system added to the lower number of deflation-inflation events might signify the supply channel or channels may have begun to reorganize and stabilize from the disruptions introduced during the 2018 eruption of Kilauea. Back to the data. Gas measurements continue to show low levels of sulfur dioxide emissions from the Halema'uma'u location. That could be an indication that magma is not within a few hundred meters of the surface. It also appears that the summit lake water is dissolving some of the sulfur dioxide gas, and USGS is still trying to understand the mechanics of that process. At Kilauea's East Rift Zone, the tilt meters and GPS stations continue to produce data that shows the refilling of the magma reservoir of the East Rift Zone. The reservoir area is in the region between Pahoa and Highway 130. The increased rates of deformation that began in March, which also occurred during the episode of rift inflation west of Highway 130, began to decrease in May, and deformation rates have almost returned to the same levels as before March. Moving down to Kilauea's south flank, the GPS stations continue to show the elevated rates of motion, which could likely signify increased slippage along the underlying fault of the south flank. The general belief continues to be this is in response to the May 4th, 2018 6.9 magnitude earthquake that occurred near Kalapana. That does it for the Kilauea Volcano update, part of the report. If you enjoyed these updates and want to receive notifications when new ones become available, then you must click that subscribe button, then the bell icon, and select all notifications. It's just that easy. Now to move on, we will go over to the Mauna Loa Volcano and see what is happening there. On June 11th, 2020, the USGS posted the latest information on Mauna Loa. According to that report, seismometers registered 107 small magnitude quakes on Mauna Loa for the last week. The majority of these quakes had occurred at depths less than 8 kilometers or around 5 miles below sea level. On June 10th, the largest of these earthquakes occurred below the Pahoa area and was a 2.8 magnitude quake. Measurements from Mauna Loa's GPS monitoring network continues to indicate gradual increasing inflation of the summit. This pattern is characteristic of magma supply to the shallow storage system of the volcano. Temperatures of fumarole and concentrations of gases also continue to remain stable at both the Southwest Rift Zone sulfur cone and the summit. Finally, webcam footage has not recorded any meaningful changes to the landscape of the volcano. Diving beneath the waves and heading to the bottom of the ocean, we take a look and see what is happening on Hawaii's newest volcano, Lōʻihi. Based on the information released by the USGS on July 4th, 2020, Lōʻihi seems to have gone back to sleep. Some of you may already know, but back on May 11th, Lōʻihi rumbled into the news as it began to experience a swarm of over 100 earthquakes. The detected quakes were beneath the southeast flank of the Seamount volcano. However, between May 12th to the 14th, the seismic events began to taper off. Since then, the volcano has returned to normal background levels and is currently quiet. That pretty much covers it for Lōʻihi. So let's go back to the summit of Kilauea and check on the Halema'uma'u Crater Lake. During an overflight of the summit on May 29th, USGS took thermal and visual images of the crater lake. In the thermal image on the left, you can see the crater lake is still hot, as represented by the yellow-orange colors. You can also see the fumaroles in the thermal image. These are the other yellow spots dotted around the crater walls. On June 1st, USGS released this video on the May 29th overflight of Halema'uma'u Crater. Observations during the flight showed the lake was tan and brown on that day, while no other significant changes were detected. Finally, on June 3rd, the depth of the lake was measured at approximately 36 meters or 118 feet deep. On May 3rd, the recorded depth of the lake was about 35 meters or 115 feet deep. That is an increase of 1 meter or 3 feet in the lake water measurement, which indicates the lake is still growing. That makes me ask, how deep will the water get before the lava returns to the summit? How deep do you think it will get? Let me know down in the comments below. Well, that'll do it for this edition of the Hawaii Volcano Watch Report. Remember to show that thumbs up button some aloha, mahalo for watching, and have an amazing morning, afternoon, or evening.